Welcome to the Our Team Podcast, powered by eXp Realty. Are you an agent looking to level up? Are you someone looking to buy or sell real estate? Fantastic. This is the show for you. Well, we are back at this today after a long break because somebody decided that they needed to go to a convention.
I did. It was incredible.
What convention was that, though?
It was two. It was two. We went to, I couldn't be two places at one time, so I ended up going with my wife, who, perfect, because we do everything together. We went to Las Vegas. We stayed at the Aria because the Zillow Unlock convention was there, and then the EXP convention was going on at the Mandalay Bay. So I literally walked 10,000 steps. I'm not kidding. I literally counted the steps, 10,000 steps. I mean, I didn't count. I have a device that counted for me.
Well, I was going to say, if you had an iWatch, it would have told you how far you walked.
Yeah, but it was crazy. I walked, and then, of course, it's on the way back, I walked too, except for one day I did a cab on the way back. So I got 20,000 steps in every day. So it was really cool. That's one of the reasons why I look amazing right now.
20,000 steps and 20 hours in a chair.
Yeah. I didn't, I had a great time. I learned a lot. It's sort of like drinking from a fire hose. You can't catch it all, right? But my goal was to take away at least 2 nuggets a day, and then really kind of go through all those things, and then extrapolate and go, okay, I want to apply 3 things, because it was a 3-day convention or conference, and so I ended up with 7 things, but I'm definitely implementing 3, and I absolutely am going to do it.
And what is your top 1?
Incorporating an ISA into our business. Right now we have a lot of leads coming in. The team is getting those. I'm going to keep that happening, but we're also going to get, we're going to build our international relationships with people that are very good on the phone. And, that's going to help us quite a bit, capturing leads and just moving the needle on those online leads. So I'm definitely going to do that. A lot of it has to do with mindset too, things like that, decisions I'm making. I'm doing a lot more reading. I have a list of 6 books that I'm going to read, and I'm actually going to read them. I'm going to get the books on Amazon. Did you know you can still get books on Amazon?
Yeah, but they really force you to put them on the Kindle.
Maybe, but I like books because I'm going to highlight stuff. I'm going to do all that, and so I'm excited.
I was going to tell you today's mastermind that we had. I've got 2 more books for you.
The ones that Kyle mentioned, they're on that list.
Oh, okay.
Because several of the books that Kyle mentioned, or the 6 books that I got that I'm going to get, I think 3 of them are from his.
Okay.
From him. The other one was a guy that I did a scripts class.
Nice.
And watched this guy live doing scripts on every
Tom
topic.
Ferry?
No. This guy could teach Tom Ferry a few things.
Ooh.
He was the smoothest operator I've ever. His name was Phil. I forgot his last name, but I'm gonna. We're gonna interview Phil. Phil's gonna come on our show.
I would like Phil to come on this show. That would be awesome.
He will do it too.
Is Phil local or is he from far away?
I think I'm pretty sure he's in the Sacramento area. I think.
Very nice. Yeah. So we can have him down.
Yeah, or we can do it remotely, but he's definitely going to be on the show. He's incredible. What did you want to talk about today?
Well, I was debating, do we actually do our topic or do we just continue to bounce back and forth on things that we've learned in life?
That's going to be way too boring.
All right, fine. Then I guess we can go on to a topic.
I know you had something that you wanted to talk about
We
today.
had talked about things to do or creating a checklist of things to do before you want to sell your home.
Okay. Okay, yeah, so from a seller's.
From the seller's point of view, not from a buyer trying to scoop it up for a rock bottom price.
Okay. Well, I wasn't sure if you were talking about, like, what do you do as a listing agent to get ready to sell homes, or if it's what does a seller do to get ready?
Well, if the listing agent isn't telling a seller what to do, then I guess they're not listing their home.
Well, that's true. These are things, I have a list of 12. And I think they're really simple. I mean, we can go through those. I think and we can blast right through the list pretty quick.
Well, let's hammer down and look at 12 different things that are important to want to off your house. Yes. I mean, get rid of. I mean, sell.
If you are a seller and you want to make sure that you get top dollar with the least hassle, and you just want to keep these 12 things kind of in mind, the first one, I'm going to say, find a really good agent. Crickets, right? Duh.
Well, duh.
You really need to have a good agent, somebody that you know, that you like, and that you trust. And hopefully those things came to you through seeing a lot of social proof that you know this agent really knows what they're doing. They sell a lot of homes in your neighborhood. They sell a lot of homes, well, maybe not in your neighborhood, but they sell a lot of homes in the general area. They're not an out-of-area agent, you know.
Well, the local agent is the key. There are so many agents, especially in this valley, that are San Diego, and they're like, oh, it's just up the hill.
Oh, exactly.
They're two different markets, and you can really tell when an out-of-the-area agent lists a home because the price isn't right, or they don't know some little caveat.
Yeah. Well, you know, real estate is a micro market. It's a micro thing. And it's all about understanding those micro markets. So I think it's important to make sure you find a really good real estate agent. And the second thing is something that we talk about a lot, and especially with our sellers, because it's the first thing we notice when we walk up. It's curb appeal. You know, when I drive to a listing appointment, I'm looking at all the homes I'm passing, and I know I'm coming up to it. Oh, here it is. And I'm making a mental note of how the home conforms with the neighborhood. If we pull up and it's the only house with weeds, that's a problem. That needs to be addressed. But I will say...
That's called a fireside sale.
Well, yeah. You'd be surprised how much curb appeal can affect the sale of someone's home, because perceived value is important. It's maybe more important than the value itself. So when someone pulls up and they see weeds and they see little, you know, the shutters that are the faux shutters on the house, all the different elevations and stuff are faded and chipping, cracking, ugly, immediately they're going to think, this is a piece of crap. This house is...
If it's not maintained outside, then it's probably not maintained inside.
Exactly. And that might be totally false. It might be gorgeous inside, and whoever's maintaining it inside just doesn't really think about the exterior. But curb appeal is very important, and you can really change that curb appeal really easily, even if it's just flowers or something, just to give it a pop of color. But the main thing is cleanliness. My wife jokes about this a lot, but even if you have a yard that's dirt, but it's clean dirt. You think, how can you have clean dirt? But there is such a thing, right? You know, like the infield of a baseball field. It's when it's all raked and dialed in. It's just that dirt looks beautiful. It's clean. You can have clean dirt. Just get rid of all the weeds. Make sure it conforms. If there's other homes that look like that on the on the street that have dirt yards, like decomposed granite or whatever yards, just make sure it's clean. You don't have to go planting grass just to get a pop of color if there's no color in the, on the rest of the street. So, I mean, that's an obvious one, but it's very important. I mean, I could probably move that one down the list a little bit, but I think it's important to be there kind of around number 2. Along with curb appeal, it sort of goes with what happens inside the house. Like your inside.
I was going to say, we kind of need to talk about the inside appeal.
Yeah, and that's really just a matter of decluttering. So for number 3, I would say decluttering. And I wouldn't tell my client, let's declutter this room. You have a cluttered house.
It's more of a conversation of, hey, there's a lot of personal effects. Let's, we're trying, when was the last time you walked through a model home?
Yeah. There's a fine balance between walking into a home and feeling like, oh, this feels like home because there's a lot of family pictures and all that kind of stuff. Some agents say, no family pictures. No family pictures.
I've never agreed with that. I want to see that there was a family living here.
Yeah.
They loved being here, and they're sad. While they're sad to see it go, They're onto the next thing for their own life.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, I can replace my picture where they had their picture.
The thing is, I've never walked into a home with a buyer and looked around and saw all these pictures of family, and it was just cluttered with pictures, right? I saw family everywhere. I've never had a buyer go, I got to get out of here. Let's go. It doesn't happen. I know what HGTV is telling everyone to depersonalize. I understand why they're saying that. It's because it can be a little overwhelming because, it's a little harder to see yourself in that family or in that house if there's 250 pictures of a different family. But so I would say, yes, declutter. You don't need 250 pictures of your family.
25 sounds good.
Or how about just 8 or 12, Just simplify. Let there be space on the walls. I think that's, pretty important. And speaking of walls, I say the walls have to be clean.
Are we talking rag or paint?
Paint. I mean, depersonalizing, decluttering, taking, just making sure it looks well kept, right? I mean, you're scuffing walls, you're doing that throughout your daily life, and you don't really notice them. But
I would say that it's probably more of a touch-up versus repainting the whole house and then rehanging everything. That's
true. It is just a touch-up, but you're going to find that when you start depersonalizing and taking a lot of photos and stuff off the wall, it's going to require repainting. And when you're doing that, you may as well do it to neutral tones.
Yeah.
Neutral tones.
Completely.
So,
but I think there's also got to be a balance of how much you're depersonalizing and decluttering and removing the tchotchkes and the stuff that makes it your own. Then by the time you say, okay, fine, I'm going to declutter it all, well, now you have blank walls and it looks like you moved out except for some furniture in the middle of the room.
Yeah, you don't want that. I mean, there's extremes, but I say number 1, find a great real estate agent. Definitely number 2 is consider the curb appeal. The third thing, if I'm trying to stay on track, is declutter the living spaces, right? Depersonalize those spaces. That would be, because there's 2 different things. So I would definitely make sure that you're keeping those in separate categories. Repainting to neutral tones and making sure things are really refreshed and clean. The 7th thing, I would say, fix any loose handles. You got to fix them. Light bulbs and handles are a big thing to me. Your doors and cabinets and things are loose and rattly and rickety. I think it's cheesy. And so it's so easy for somebody to... You notice how easy it is to do all this stuff we're talking about. We're not talking about...
It's a punch list.
It is a punch list. Actually, I can make this a punch list, and if anybody listening to this wants, I can send it to them for free. For free. Just reach out. Reach out. I mean, they're already going to be liking and subscribing to this, so they may as well request this list. And then if you're an agent listening to this, you can use it in your practice. If you're an actual seller thinking about selling your house, then you should consider these things. I would definitely add some plants inside the house.
Yeah.
Flowers, a little color. I think it's important. If you don't want to do plants in the kitchen, that's fine. Maybe do a bowl of fruit. I know we're really getting granular here, but
well, if you happen to have a nice fake plant, it works great.
We water these all the time, and it's phenomenal.
Right. So we're not talking, garden.
Yeah, you don't need a garden, but there's something about having live plants in the house that just kind of, without saying, it's just like life, right? So I think it's important to have some plants. I think was number 8 on my punch list. It's something that I almost always encourage, unless there's already a bunch of fake plants. But kitchens, definitely a bowl of fruit goes a long way. How many times have you walked into a house and it smelled like pee? You want to just leave as quick as possible, or cigarette smoke or something like that.
Well, not even, you can go the other way with it too. Have you ever walked into a model home in which the Febreze or whatever they're using is so potent you can't stay inside?
You're wondering if they're covering something, like somebody was murdered there last night? Number 9 on my punch list is do a smell test. You have to make sure that the house doesn't smell weird. And sometimes you get so used to the smell of your house that
I was going to say, you're going to need to invite a friend.
You need a friend sometimes to come. Hey, can you come just check out? Can you come sniff my house?
Well, beyond that, you can have us come back as your agent.
Yeah, exactly. A good agent's going to tell you that there's some odors in here that need to address. Clean is the number 10 on my punch list. And the reason it's so important is because even if the home has some wear that you can't fix, but that wear is clean. For example, let's say you're selling an older home and it has tile counters that might have a few cracks and chips and things like that, right? It doesn't give you an excuse to say, well, these can just be dirty because I got to replace them anyway. Everything, cleaning is so important. That means around doorknobs. That means, even if it's a little worn out, it's okay to clean it. I had a client not too long ago tell me that they weren't going to, there was 3 windows up pretty high and they said they didn't want to clean those because they all had to be replaced because they had cracks on the corners. All 3 of them had cracks. And I was like, no, you need to clean those. He said, well, they got to be replaced. I said, you got to clean those cracked windows. And he just didn't want to get a 20-foot ladder and clean them. They were filthy. You want to be able to see through those windows. And so clean is really important. If you have a really old kitchen sink and it's got some issues, that's okay. Just make sure it's clean, So anyway, same thing with carpet too, right? I mean, a lot of people are getting rid of carpet these days. If you have a lot of traffic patterns in your carpet and it's showing wear, that's okay. Yeah, worn, clean carpet sells. Dirty, worn carpet is scary. So don't be afraid of a little bit of wear. I added hiding valuables to my punch list only because I've had a lot of clients ask me, should we hide our valuables? So I just added it to the list because I think, yes, you should. But I will tell you, I've been selling real estate for 20 years, a little longer, and we've listed and sold a ton of homes. I've not ever had a break-in or had somebody, not a break-in, but had anyone steal, whether at an open house or a showing or anything. So I think in some ways, we just have gotten lucky. I know it does happen, but we've never had that issue. But I think it's a good idea to put those valuables away. The punch list is there's maybe some things on there that don't apply. This is probably the one thing that doesn't apply to every situation. Staging is really important, in my opinion, in homes that are vacant, that have massive open areas where the builder clearly intended that this portion of this great room is supposed to be like the living area in front of the fireplace. And then over here, a little closer to the kitchen, this open space should be where you put a table there. You can kind of see there's a light above where you're going to have a nice chandelier or something above the table. And then over here is more like a sitting area, that kind of thing. But if you walk in and all you just see is a kitchen in the corner of this massive room with a fireplace 60 feet away on the other, you have to stage that. You have to show people this is how to set up this room. First of all, it's not that expensive. You can split that with the seller, or you can let your sellers know that for this fee, we'll incorporate staging in these 2 areas. Or you can give them a discount and have them pay for it. There's a lot of ways to skin that cat. I heard, I think it was Kenny Trong, he said, you used to be able to take a picture of your shoes, put it in the MLS, and you could sell the house, right? So staging even digital staging might be something that's really necessary. So those are the 12 things I think are important. I know there's more. If you think there's more and you're listening to this, please reach out to us. I mean, we didn't get that granular on everything, but I think those are 12 things that a seller should consider, and 12 things you should help your seller consider if you're a listing agent. If you really want to know what the actual 12 are, just let me know. I'll send them to you.
Definitely. I think that'll be fun.
Thanks. This was fun. I'm glad we did this.
Let's do it again.
Hey, wait, before you go, I wanted to quickly thank you for tuning in to the Our Team podcast. And whether you're listening on Facebook Live or you're tuning in on YouTube or maybe listening to a podcast, I wanted to just say, if you found any value in this, would you please take the time to like and subscribe? And if you leave a comment, that really helps the show as well. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you on the next one.